I have no idea what happened to all of my ties. Listen up, everyone. This is your Valentine's Day survival guide. Step 1, wear a suit, even if it barely fits anymore. Step 2, cook something so indulgent, so rich that your date will forget any minor disappointments in life, including step 1. Step 3, whatever you do, do not eat this before the romance happens. Get it out the way first. Otherwise, you're gonna be out cold, drooling on each other like a couple of overfed house cats. Because today on Poor Choices, we're making a special Valentine's Day baked conchiglie. Cheesy, creamy, and packed with flavor. The kind of meal that whispers sweet nothings to your arteries. And you know what they whisper? Nap time. So let's make it. First up, let's cook our pasta. We're gonna bring a pot of salted water to a boil, and you wanna salt this like it's the ocean. And we're gonna add in 8 ounces of conchiglie. That's how Google told me how to say it, but it's also known as small pasta shells. And listen, avoid the temptation of pouring in the entire box. I am notorious for that. Even when it tells me 6, 4, 7 ounces, I'd be pouring in a whole box. But you don't want to do that for this recipe. We want to keep our pasta to sauce ratio just right. So cook them just until al dente. Since they'll bake later, we don't want them to get too soft. Since my box said between 8 and 10 minutes, I erred on the 8 side. Once done, drain and toss with a little olive oil to keep them from sticking. Set those aside while we build our sauce. In a pan over medium heat, we're gonna add a drizzle of olive oil and saute 2 finely diced shallots until they turn translucent. Then we're gonna stir in 3 cloves of minced garlic. Next, crumble in half a pound of spicy Italian sausage. And just let that cook until beautifully browned. Now stir in a tablespoon of tomato paste and let it cook for about a minute. And this enhances its natural sweetness and intensifies the flavor. Now we can deglaze. Pour in a 1/4 cup of dry red wine. I've got a Cabernet here. We want to scrape up all those flavorful bits stuck to the bottom of the pan. Let that reduce for a moment, then add in a can of crushed San Marzano tomatoes. And if you don't have that, regular crushed tomatoes work. We're not making anything actually authentic here, so nobody should be coming at your throat for using a different tomato. Season with a teaspoon of sugar, half a teaspoon of dried oregano, and just a touch of smoked paprika for depth. And just let it simmer for about 10 minutes while we prep the cheese mixture. So here's where things get extra creamy. And you might start to recognize we're kind of making a lasagna, but not really. In a bowl, we're gonna combine half a cup of ricotta cheese, a 1/4 cup of an ingredient I've been saying wrong for a very long time, mascarpone, and 1 egg yolk. To separate the yolk, just simply crack an egg and pass the yolk back and forth between the shell halves, letting the white drip down into its own separate bowl below. Mix that together, then add in half a cup of grated Parmesan and a mashed clove of roasted garlic, or in this case, a teaspoon of roasted garlic paste. And definitely try to get your hands on some roasted garlic in some shape or form. It really adds a mellow caramelized flavor without overpowering the dish, and it's a great addition. And 1/4 of a teaspoon of freshly grated nutmeg. This is gonna add some wonderful warmth to your dish. Back to our red sauce. Finally, we're gonna stir in half a cup of heavy cream and a 1/4 cup of grated Parmesan cheese to give the sauce a velvety finish. Now let's bring all of this together. We're gonna add your cooked pasta to the tomato sauce and gently fold until each shell is coated. And this is gonna ensure that every bite is packed with flavor, instead of dry pasta just sitting in a dish of sauce. Oh, and one more thing, because we need more calories, for an extra layer of creaminess, we're making a quick cheese sauce here. We're gonna melt 2 tablespoons of butter in a saucepan, and then we're gonna whisk in 2 tablespoons of flour and cook it for about a minute. Let that raw flour flavor kind of come off. Then slowly add 1 cup of warm milk, whisking constantly until it's smooth. Stir in half a cup of Parmesan and a pinch of salt. Give it some whisking until it thickens some, and just make sure you give it a little taste, because it's quite possible we need some more salt here. And same thing goes for that tomato sauce. Everything outside of the ricotta cheese mixture can be tasted, because remember, the ricotta cheese mixture has an egg yolk in it, so we don't want to be tasting that raw. But just make sure you are tasting everything, because if all your layers taste good, you know it's gonna be amazing when it comes together. Now get your oven preheated to 375. We're gonna grab some 10-ounce ramekins and grease them lightly. And you can pick these up at Target, they're readily available. I got mine on Amazon, but if you're watching this on Valentine's Day or really any date night, don't panic, you can still get your hands on these. And we're just gonna start by spreading a thin layer of the cheese sauce at the bottom, followed by a layer of pasta, then a layer of the ricotta mixture, and we're just gonna repeat this process at least one more time, finishing with a final drizzle of the cheese sauce. Now for the golden crispy top. Yes, even more calories. We're gonna sprinkle a mixture of shredded mozzarella and smoked Gouda over the ramekins. And for crunch, we're gonna mix together some panko breadcrumbs, grated Parmesan, olive oil, and a pinch of Italian seasoning and scatter that on top. And then we're just gonna pop it into the oven, bake uncovered for 25 to 30 minutes or until the top is bubbling and golden brown. And if you want an extra crispy crust, pop it under the broiler for about a minute or 2, but don't walk away far. Those broilers can scorch your food in an instant. Then we just let it rest for 5 minutes before serving. And for the final touch, top with some freshly chopped basil, and if you have it on hand, a light drizzle of truffle oil. Serve with a simple salad and warm garlic bread to complete the meal, which I actually have linked in the description to some shorts on just how to make those said sides. And there you have it, romantic baked conchiglie. Ready to impress, whether it's Valentine's Day or just a cozy night in, this dish brings all the indulgence and comfort. Give it a try and let me know how it turns out. Hey everybody, this is Poor Choices Kitchen. We have a Patreon link down in the description. $1 a month is all we ask for to pay for recipes in these here inflated times. And we also have YouTube memberships. Those actually help me get over the monthly threshold to get paid by YouTube a lot quicker. And of course, that money goes towards recipes in these here inflated times. So I really hope you enjoy this recipe. Also, I hope you like this kind of style I'm experimenting with. I don't think a lot of you know that I used to be a cinematographer and a gaffer and directed music videos, did all this stuff back in the day, and I never really had time to kind of flex that when I was doing the show because I was always having to work and do other things. But I actually took some time out on a Saturday, planned out all my shots a lot better than I normally do. Probably was half as drunk as usual. And yeah, I just wanted to show off a little bit. I might keep this up, I might go back and forth, who knows? No one expects anything consistently from this channel other than a good time. So until then, peace.